A garden that stays clean all season without a single weed in sight sounds impossible, until you see it with your own eyes. That is exactly what caught my attention when I noticed my neighbor stepping through her garden like it was already finished work, while mine looked like a battlefield just after a rainy week. No bending for hours, no pulling stubborn roots, just calm steps and spotless soil. Something didn't add up, and what she revealed next completely changed the way I look at weeding forever. Before we go deeper into her secret, if you enjoy practical gardening wisdom like this, take a moment to subscribe to Grow Bountiful so you never miss a simple trick that can transform your garden. The truth is, most gardeners are fighting the wrong battle. Weeds are not a temporary problem, they are a permanent system built into nature itself. Every patch of soil already contains thousands of dormant seeds, waiting for light, moisture, and the right temperature to explode into growth. You don't just weed once and finish. You reset, and they return stronger. That is why most methods feel like a losing cycle. Pull them out and they return. Burn them on the surface and they grow back from the root. Spray chemicals and you might win fast, but you damage the living soil beneath your plants. My neighbor understood something different. She wasn't fighting weeds harder, she was stopping them from ever getting comfortable. For years I thought her garden was just luck or endless effort. Clean paths, empty beds, no green intruders anywhere. Then one morning I saw her using a small spray bottle, not a heavy machine, just something you would normally use for cleaning glass. She moved slowly across the edges of her beds and the cracks in the paths. No drama, no urgency, just routine. That moment was the turning point. I had to know what she was using. What she shared was surprisingly simple, almost too simple to believe. A kitchen ingredient most people ignore in gardening completely. Baking soda. Not as a sprinkle, not as a myth, but as a properly mixed solution combined with a few everyday household items. And once you understand how it works, it stops sounding like a trick and starts sounding like basic plant science. The solution she uses is made with precise measurements that matter more than anything else. You mix 200 grams of baking soda into 1 liter of hot water kept between 60 and 70 degrees Celsius. Not boiling, just hot enough to dissolve properly without breaking down the active compounds. To this, you add 1 tablespoon of dish soap, and 2 tablespoons of regular kitchen vinegar. Then you stir it gently until everything blends into a slightly cloudy liquid. That is your weed control solution, and when applied correctly, it can cover roughly 10 to 15 square meters depending on how heavily you spray. Now the real secret is not just the mixture, but how it behaves on contact with weeds. Baking soda creates a harsh alkaline shift on the leaf surface, forcing the plant cells into stress. At the same time, it pulls moisture out of the plant tissue, slowly drying it from the inside. The vinegar doesn't destroy the weed on its own, but it helps break through the waxy protective layer on the leaf, allowing the mixture to penetrate deeper. The dish soap plays a silent but powerful role by helping the liquid spread evenly instead of sliding off the leaf surface. Together, they create a full coverage attack that weakens the weed step by step until it can no longer recover. Timing is where most people fail. My neighbor never sprays at random moments. She chooses dry weather, ideally late in the evening when the sun is no longer strong and there is no morning dew to dilute the solution. That gives the mixture several uninterrupted hours to work directly on the plant without interference. This small timing detail is one of the reasons her results look so dramatic compared to traditional methods. After application, nothing looks dramatic at first. The weeds still appear green and normal on day 1. But beneath the surface, the process has already begun. By day 3, the edges start to yellow and curl as the plant loses moisture and structure. By day 7, many weeds are completely dry, brittle, and lifeless, breaking apart easily when touched. The key difference is that the root system is also affected, not just the visible leaves. That is what prevents the quick comeback most gardeners are used to. There is also a discipline behind how she applies it. She never sprays everything blindly. She targets only unwanted growth and protects nearby plants by using simple shielding like cardboard when needed. This level of control is what keeps her garden healthy instead of damaged. And that is important because this solution is powerful enough to affect any plant it touches, not just weeds. But the real transformation in her garden doesn't come only from spraying. It comes from what happens after. Once the weeds are removed, she never leaves soil exposed for long. Bare soil is an open invitation for new weed seeds to settle and grow. Instead, she always covers her beds and paths with protective layers. This is where long-term control begins. She uses different materials depending on the area. On flower beds, a thick layer of bark keeps light away from weed seeds while slowly improving soil quality over time. In vegetable areas, straw or grass clippings create a soft protective barrier that also feeds the soil as it breaks down. On pathways and cracks, she uses a simple mix of sand combined with a small amount of baking soda to discourage new growth. This combination makes it harder for seeds to take hold and reduces future maintenance dramatically. What impressed me most is that this system is not about constant effort. It is about smart timing. One strong intervention at the beginning of the season, followed by protection and small maintenance checks, replaces hours of endless pulling and frustration. Instead of fighting weeds every weekend, you only respond when necessary. After trying this approach myself, the difference was impossible to ignore. What used to take entire weekends now takes only short moments in the garden. No more endless bending, no more repeated regrowth in the same spots, and no more feeling like the garden is always one step ahead of you. It creates space again, not just in the soil, but in your time and energy.